Have you ever noticed how the more goals you set, the heavier your life begins to feel? You promise yourself this will be the week you finally change everything. You will eat perfectly, sleep on time, exercise every day, stay positive, stay focused, and somehow become a brand new person by sheer force. But instead of feeling inspired, you feel tired before you even begin. And that is where most people quietly lose themselves. Not because they do not care, but because they have confused pressure with progress. Here is the truth no one says enough. Your life does not usually change when you make bigger promises. It changes when you make healthy change feel gentle enough to repeat. What if just 8 minutes a day could begin to soften the stress, clear the mental fog, and help you return to the version of yourself that feels calmer, stronger, and more in control? In this video, we are not talking about extreme routines or unrealistic plans. We are talking about a simple 8-minute reset that supports the three things your body needs most as you get older: better nourishment, easier movement, and deeper rest. Because when those three begin to work together, your energy changes, your mood changes, and slowly, your whole life begins to change with them. Not all at once, but quietly, steadily, and in a way that finally feels possible. The reason most people fail when they try to change their lives is not because they lack discipline. It is because they start by declaring war on themselves. They wake up one morning, usually after a wave of frustration, and decide that everything must change now. No more bad habits, no more wasted time, no more excuses. From this day forward, they will eat perfectly, walk every morning, sleep like a machine, think positively, drink more water, stop stress eating, and somehow carry all of that with a tired body and an already overloaded mind. For a moment, that decision feels powerful. It feels like hope. But very quickly, it begins to feel like pressure. And pressure has a way of draining energy before real change even begins. That is why the 8-minute reset matters so much. It does not ask you to transform your entire life before breakfast. It asks you to pause long enough to send your body and mind a different message. A calmer message, a kinder message. A message that says, I do not need to fix everything today. I just need to take care of myself for the next 8 minutes. That may sound small, but small is exactly why it works. The body responds to safety, not force. The mind follows what feels doable, not what sounds impressive. And once something feels doable, it becomes repeatable. That is where real change begins. So let us break this 8-minute reset into a simple rhythm your future self will thank you for. The first minute is for stillness and breathing. Just 1 minute. Not meditation in some complicated, intimidating form. Just slow, deliberate breathing. Sit down. Stand near a window. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach if that helps you feel grounded. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale a little longer than you inhale. That is all. What problem does this solve? It interrupts the rush. Many people start the day already activated, already tense, already thinking about what is wrong, late, unfinished, or worrying. When the nervous system begins the day in survival mode, everything else becomes harder. You crave quick comfort. You lose patience more easily. You feel mentally scattered. 1 minute of breathing may seem too simple to matter, but it softens the stress response and creates space between you and your automatic reactions. The benefit is subtle but powerful. You become more present before the day starts pulling at you. And that presence changes your next choice. Instead of reaching for sugar because you are stressed, you might drink water first. Instead of skipping movement because you feel overwhelmed, you might at least begin. An everyday example is someone waking up after poor sleep, feeling irritable and heavy. Normally, they would go straight into checking their phone, reading upsetting news, or rushing into the kitchen. But with 1 minute of breathing, they feel their shoulders loosen, their jaw unclench, and their thoughts slow just enough to stop the spiral before it builds. That is not dramatic, but it is the kind of tiny interruption that changes the emotional direction of a whole morning. The next 2 minutes are for gentle movement, not punishment, not a workout that leaves you gasping, just enough movement to tell your body, I have not forgotten you. Maybe that means shoulder rolls, slow neck stretches, ankle circles, marching in place, reaching your arms overhead, or standing up and sitting down a few times with control. If your body allows it, maybe a gentle side bend or a slow twist. The problem this solves is physical stagnation. So many adults, especially as they get older, carry stiffness that does not only live in the body. It affects mood, confidence, and energy. When the body feels heavy and neglected, the mind often reads that as defeat. Movement then feels harder to begin later in the day because the first hours passed in stillness and discomfort. But 2 minutes of kind movement reduces the friction. It wakes up circulation. It eases tightness. It reminds your muscles and joints that they are still part of your life. The benefit is not just flexibility or blood flow. It is identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who moves, even in a small way, even on difficult days. And identity matters more than intensity. A person who says, "I am the kind of person who takes care of my body every day, even briefly," is building something much stronger than a person who only pushes hard once in a while. Picture a man in his early 60s who wakes up with a stiff lower back and knees that resist the first few steps. In the past, he might tell himself he is too old, too tight, or too tired to bother. So he sits longer, moves less, and feels worse by noon. But now he spends 2 minutes marching gently beside the bed, rolling his shoulders, lifting his heels, and stretching his arms upward. The pain does not magically disappear, but his body warms. His posture changes. He feels slightly more capable. That slight shift often becomes the difference between spending the day withdrawn and taking a short walk after lunch. Then come the next 2 minutes, and this is where healthy living becomes practical instead of theoretical. Use these 2 minutes to prepare one nourishing choice for the day. Just one. Not an entire meal plan, not a complicated food rule. One supportive action. Fill a bottle of water and place it where you will see it. Wash a handful of grapes. Slice an apple. Set out oatmeal. Boil eggs. Portion unsalted nuts. Put yogurt at eye level in the fridge. Prepare cucumber or carrot slices. The problem this solves is not ignorance. Most people already know what healthier options look like. The real issue is that when hunger, stress, or exhaustion hits, convenience wins. And unhealthy choices are often the most convenient choices. By taking 2 minutes early in the day, you reduce the chance that your future self will reach for whatever is easiest in a depleted moment. The solution is not more willpower, it is better setup. That tiny bit of preparation makes nourishment more likely when energy is low. The benefit goes far beyond one snack or one breakfast. It builds self-support. You are no longer waiting until you are desperate to decide what to eat. You are quietly caring for your future needs before they become urgent. That changes the emotional tone around food. Instead of guilt and reaction, there is calm and readiness. Imagine a woman caring for both aging parents and her own household. By mid-afternoon, she is usually drained and reaches for cookies with tea because she has had no time to think about herself. But this time, during her 8-minute reset, she washed berries, filled a bottle of water, and placed a small bowl of almonds on the counter. Later, when that tired moment arrives, the healthy option is already there. She still has a choice, of course, but now the better choice is easier. That is how habits are protected in real life. Not by perfection, but by making the next good decision more visible and less demanding. The final 3 minutes are for protecting sleep before the day unfolds. This is the part people often overlook, and yet it changes everything. Many people treat sleep as something that starts only when they get into bed. But sleep begins much earlier than that. It begins with light exposure, stress load, eating timing, screen habits, and whether the body ever receives the signal that the day is slowing down. Use these 3 minutes to send that signal early. Open the curtains and let morning light reach your eyes. Step outside for a moment if you can. Decide now when you want to stop caffeine or late-night snacking. Move your phone charger away from the bed. Write down one worry so you are not carrying it silently all day. Pick one small evening ritual such as herbal tea, dimmer lighting, or no screens for the last 20 minutes before sleep. The problem this solves is the invisible sabotage that steals rest long before bedtime arrives. Stress piles up. Artificial light confuses the body clock. Stimulation continues late into the evening. Then people lie awake wondering why sleep feels broken. The solution is to treat sleep like something worth preparing for, not something to beg for at the end of an exhausting day. The benefit is more than rest. Better sleep improves appetite regulation, mood stability, patience, focus, and motivation. It becomes easier to move your body when you are less tired. It becomes easier to choose balanced meals when cravings are not being driven by exhaustion. This is why the 8-minute ritual is so powerful. It does not work because each step is huge. It works because each step supports the others. A calmer nervous system makes healthier eating easier. Gentle movement helps the body feel more awake in the morning and more ready for sleep later. Better food choices stabilize energy so you are less likely to crash. Better sleep improves everything the next day. This is not random habit stacking. It is a quiet biological partnership. And once you understand that, you stop expecting one giant action to rescue your life. You begin respecting the quiet systems that shape how you feel day after day. Think of someone who has spent years saying, "I know what to do, I just cannot stick with it." What they often mean is that they have only tried habits that required too much energy at the wrong time. But 8 minutes lowers the barrier. It removes the emotional drama. It turns self-care into something that can fit inside a real life, even a messy one. And because it is so short, it can survive bad days. That may be the most important part of all. Your life will not be changed by what you do only when you feel strong, motivated, and clear-headed. Your life will be changed by what remains possible when you feel tired, discouraged, busy, lonely, or overwhelmed. An 8-minute reset still fits there. It still gives you a way back to yourself. It still keeps the thread from breaking entirely. Over time, those repeated returns create trust. You begin to believe yourself again. You say you will care for your body, and then you do, even briefly. You say you want more peace, and then you create a small pocket of it each morning. You say you want change, and instead of waiting for a perfect Monday, a perfect mood, or a perfect plan, you begin with the life you already have. That is how transformation really looks in adulthood. Not loud, not glamorous, not sudden. It looks like tiny moments of care practiced so consistently that one day you realize your mornings feel steadier, your choices feel softer, your body feels less ignored, and your life is no longer being shaped by panic and guilt. It is being shaped by rhythm. And rhythm, when it is kind enough to repeat, can change everything. That changes the emotional tone around food. Instead of guilt and reaction, there is calm and readiness. Imagine a woman caring for both aging parents and her own household. By mid-afternoon, she is usually drained and reaches for cookies with tea because she has had no time to think about herself. But this time, during her 8-minute reset, she washed berries, filled a bottle of water, and placed a small bowl of almonds on the counter. Later, when that tired moment arrives, the healthy option is already there. She still has a choice, of course, but now the better choice is easier. That is how habits are protected in real life. Not by perfection, but by making the next good decision more visible and less demanding. The final 3 minutes are for protecting sleep before the day unfolds. This is the part people often overlook, and yet it changes everything. Many people treat sleep as something that starts only when they get into bed. But sleep begins much earlier than that. It begins with light exposure, stress load, eating timing, screen habits, and whether the body ever receives the signal that the day is slowing down. Use these 3 minutes to send that signal early. Open the curtains and let morning light reach your eyes. Step outside for a moment if you can. Decide now when you want to stop caffeine or late-night snacking. Move your phone charger away from the bed. Write down one worry so you are not carrying it silently all day. Pick one small evening ritual such as herbal tea, dimmer lighting, or no screens for the last 20 minutes before sleep. The problem this solves is the invisible sabotage that steals rest long before bedtime arrives. Stress piles up. Artificial light confuses the body clock.